So backing up just a little bit, Dad worked at the gin for a while in Five Points.
Give us your father's name.
Junior Allen is how he was known. He's Jesse Buford Allen Jr. And
Born when?
Born in April the 27th, 1928.
Okay.
And my mother, Imogene Nelson Allen, but it's spelled Imogene. And she was born in August the 8th, 1928. And they married in 45, and on November the 3rd, and I was born a year and a day later. So Daddy worked at the gin.
How old was your parents when they got married?
17.
Both of them?
Both of them.
Okay.
They quit high school their senior year, which Mother always regretted. But Dad worked various jobs. He was always a very hard worker, and he was very mechanical. Had his own little garage shop, worked on cars and stuff, but he's so tender-hearted about people having hard times, because he had hard times, that he would often not charge them if they couldn't pay. Much to Mother's distress, because by that time we had 4 kids and it was hard. And so anyway, after we had lived at the schoolhouse for a while, Grandmom and Granddad worked for TVA all this time. He was working for TVA when I was born. Gordon Thomas Nelson. And this is my mother's parents, and Lita Mae Hammonds Nelson. And they were born, Granddad, in April the 4th, 1908. And Grandmom was born September 14th, 1909. And I don't remember when they married.
It's your mother's side.
This is my mother's side of the family, yes. That side of the family is buried down at Grassy Cemetery, just practically on the Alabama, it's in Alabama, but it's practically on the Tennessee line, south of Bonnertown, Tennessee, and which is south of Five Points, Tennessee, where we're all raised. So Mother was the second baby, but the only surviving child of 5. Grandmom lost 4 babies. And they're all buried, 1 little girl and 3 little boys, down there at Grassy, right by their Grandmom and Granddad's graves.
Tell the sequence of the births and the stillbirths.
Well, Mother was the second one in 28, and then there were 3 more after her. 1 little girl and 2 more little boys, and I don't remember the dates of those, but it would have probably been in the early 30s. So, but Granddad worked for TVA.
Doing what?
Well, he was a lineman, building the poles that held the TVA tower poles, kind of, what do they look like? What are they called?
Those metal towers you see up.
Right.
Holding the lines.
When you say Granddad, give the name.
Gordon Nelson.
Okay.
Granddad Nelson. And I'll talk about them for a little while, because we always lived real close to them.
Adjoining farms, right?
On the same farm, basically, that Granddad owned. Granddad, I'll back up just a little bit, because Granddad, he fell because he was swinging like a donkey down that tower, showing out. They didn't have safety
Trying to beat another guy to the ground.
Yeah, coming down that tower. He had done this lots of times. He was very strong, um, and but he fell this time over near Memphis, and he fell, and then he stood up. The problem was that his foot went one way, and his leg bone, went in the dirt. He had broken his leg badly at the ankle. And they took him to the emergency room in the hospital in Memphis, and they so excited the little new doctor there that he didn't clean it up good before he set it. And Granddad got gangrene and nearly died and was in the hospital for a long time. And then I was born after this happened. And Granddad was on crutches, couldn't get around very much, was pretty much disabled for a time. And Mother and Grandmom told me that he used to sit by my baby bed and talk to me all the time. He had me talking early and stuff. Anyway, Granddad, he went back to work at TVA, and because he couldn't do that kind of work anymore that he had done on the line, they made him teach apprentices, and he went around the valley doing that. But that meant that he would be away from home during the week and just home on weekends. So, but he had always wanted a farm, and so he bought this farm that
In 5 Points.
in 5 Points, yeah, right on the Rabbit Trail Road, and it was just a farm with an old house on it, and
About 80 acres.
no, it was a lot more than that, because the field where they built their house eventually there there was an 80-acre cotton field, as it turned out. It was cotton field and pasture, and then 20 acres that was separated by a leg road, and that was our address because Mom and Dad and us 4 kids moved down there in this old house, which was not in good shape. It was very, very cold and had well water, not running water to the house.
Your dad said you lived on Leg Road about the knee.
Down about the knee, yeah, Daddy always said that. That's where we lived, on Leg Road, down about the knee. So anyway, we had to draw water from a well in the back of the house and use an outdoor toilet. All the time I lived there till I went to college at 17. Anyway, we had lots of fun there because, you know, we had a big area to play in. There was a big grove of trees there. We had all kinds of animals.
Freight train.
We had hogs.
Did you say freight train?
Freight train was a burro that Granddad, he used to buy things because he lived just on the hill across the pasture from us, and there was just a little stream down there at the bottom of the hill, and when they built their house on the hill, and so we used to just go through the pasture back and forth, you know, to our houses. It was closer that way than going around the road. So anyway, we had lots of animals. We had those, what we call nervous goats. At one time we had them, and we had a lot of fun with them because you could go out through the pasture and you could clap your legs like this, and they would take off running, and they would get stiff-legged and shake and fall over.
Good fun.
Yeah, that, and sometimes chasing pigs. They didn't like for us to chase pigs, but we did that sometimes too. We had a horse one time, more than one actually, but this particular horse we really liked. It was a real pretty horse, but she was a mare and she had a little colt, and one day, Granddad was down there with David and Donna, I think, and in the pasture, and David went over to pet the colt, and the horse thought he took exception to that, I guess, and didn't hurt David, but the horse just came up and tapped him on the back and knocked him down and in some manure in his face, in some manure. And I remember it scared Granddad to death.
How old was David?
He was probably about 5, and
So that makes you how old?
I would have been 10.
Okay.
This is not too long after we moved there, I guess, because I think I was 8 when we moved there. But anyway,
So this would have been around 1958.
I was born in 46, been around 1956,
1956. Okay.
yeah. Something like that. And so Granddad got scared and he sold the horse. But I just remember him bringing David up to where Mama was. We were in the backyard doing something, probably fixing stuff out of the garden or something. And here he comes carrying David, and David's got this black face with his mouth just open screaming. And it's just manure all over his face. And Granddad said, he's not hurt, but he's sure is bad. But Granddad was afraid that horse would hurt us, you know. So, anyway, but we had freight train.
Did you pause it?
No, go ahead.
We had freight train. We had this burro that Granddad bought us. He would bring animals in just so we would have fun with them. And this was the dumbest looking burro you have ever seen.
Looked like a donkey, didn't he?
Kind of. but he was a burro.
Some people don't know what a burro is.
Okay, yeah, kind of like a donkey. But he was very tame, and we would get him, and when our friends would come down, mostly our cousins, because we had lots of cousins, and they loved to come down and play on the farm. And we would take the burro, and we would start way back from the back of the house. We would start way back, and we would get on him, and there would be like 4 of us on his back because we were small. And every time he would head for the clothesline because he knew that he would knock us off if he went under the clothesline. But what was so funny was we would get so tickled we'd fall off before we got to the clothesline. But we just had so much fun. There was just always stuff to do, and we didn't have any electronic games back then. We made little playhouses out in the woods and stuff like that. I bet your sisters did that too, didn't they?
Yep.
You got stories?
Here, let's switch. Thank you.